Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois. It is always my pleasure to have Casey Gisclair of Bayou Sports on with me. And he and I got together a little bit earlier today and talked about the football playoffs. Let's roll that in. Casey Gisclair.
Always happy to have Casey here with us as we take a look at the football playoffs. Casey, hope you're doing well. I know you did go up to West Monroe last Friday night. Talk about that game and in general what you thought of round one of the playoffs.
The first thing with the West Monroe situation, my goodness, what a facility, what a setup. I mean, it was like we were at a college. It was unbelievable. They played well and, moved on and did what they had to do. But in general, in round one, some interesting matchups. Terrebonne wins in a crazy way with Natchitoches Central running out of time, going to overtime, winning on a trick play. I was very surprised that Thibodaux kind of got blasted a little bit. Wasn't expecting that. There were some interesting results. A couple teams survived and moved on. A couple teams went away. And now we move to week two.
Interestingly, about that Thibodaux game, you and I obviously on a text thread with Coach Rod, he mentioned that was a ninth grade quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, for Mandeville, who throws for like almost 400 yards in the game, right?
Yeah, ninth grade quarterback, throws for 3, whatever, and it's against the Thibodaux defense that hadn't given up yards to anybody. They had been tremendous. So it just makes you wonder if, someday that little old ninth grade quarterback that Mandeville has might be wearing purple and gold or green and white or playing on Saturday someday.
Listen, the old cliche question after a round of playoffs, did anything surprise you?
Well, I mean, the way the Terrebonne game ended had to have surprised everybody. I mean, it just feels like deja vu. Last year, they lose in the opening round on the last-second field goal as the 9 seed. It looks like the exact same thing is going to happen this year. Natchitoches Central runs out of time on a crazy situation at the end. Then in overtime, Tyler Lewis, he told us the story Saturday morning that the play that they scored a touchdown on was their first down play call. Tyler Lewis vetoed it. He said, we ain't running that. It ain't going to work. Second down, they run it. It does work. Tyler has to, kind of eat the crow a little bit. I'm sure he'll happily eat the crow all the way to Southside as they're going to round two.
We had 3 teams that didn't get the opportunity to play because they were fortunate enough to get a bye. That would be Vanderbilt Catholic, E.D. White, and CCA. Upcoming games this week. I'm going to go ahead and start the ball rolling in the conversation by saying 2 out of 3 are not going to be competitive. Would you agree?
Yeah. Vanderbilt and E.D. White are going to win decisively in the round 2, in my estimation. Vanderbilt's playing Carver. Carver is not a very strong football team. E.D. White's playing St. Michael. I just don't see them having the horses to keep up. I would agree with that. I think that the local team that has the most difficulty of the 3 that had byes would be CCA. They're facing St. Edmund. I think St. Edmund is really good. You don't have Owen Trosclair. What's that going to look like? Owen means a whole lot to your offense. So of the 3 with byes, I think CCA faces the rockiest road in round 2. Now, having said that, E.D. White, assuming they get by round 2, will then be going into a gauntlet. They are in the wrong side of the bracket in Division 2, but I do think they'll get by the second round.
Yes, and look, if either Vanderbilt or E.D. White does have a problem, I'd imagine it would be E.D. White would say, just because there was at one time a little history with St. Michael's and Bishop Sullivan back in the day. Terrebonne going on to take on Southside. Coach Lewis, who I spoke to recently, said he feels like he can play against Southside. What say you?
So the interesting thing is people look on the LHSA website and see all these points scored by Southside this year and assume that they're throwing the ball. No. They run it almost every single play. So that's the one thing that I think Terrebonne likes is they're saying, hey, we got a big physical defensive line. They're a one-dimensional offense. If we can make them uncomfortable, win first and second down, who knows what might happen. Now, that's easier said than done, but I'm sure everyone else that Southside has played this year has had the same plan, and it hasn't quite worked out. But Southside's a unique animal. They're going to want to run the football, control the line of scrimmage, but that's also what Terrebonne's pretty good at. So I think it is a pretty good matchup for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Southside is a team that's sort of like their counterpart over there in that area, Acadiana. They don't run the same exact scheme. One's more veer, one's more a little bit wing T-ish. And you have Curtis, lineage over there at Southside High School too. So that one ought to be interesting. Listen, we always want to keep up with you. Tell everybody out there, Bayou Sports, if they want to tune in. I know we started making that transition to basketball. Where can they catch Casey Gisclair and everything that goes on with sports in the Bayou region?
Yeah, go to Facebook, type BY dash the letter U sports. Our followers are growing by the day. We're up to 28,000 now, which is incredible. And you mentioned that transition. Tonight we have a live soccer match. Tomorrow we have a live girls basketball game. And then Friday we will have multiple playoff games. So we're still in the fall, but we are dabbling and sticking our toes into the winter as well. Super excited about that. And, in addition to the live games, we break news and, keep you updated on everybody in the area throughout the week as well.
Thank you so much for the time, Casey. Always good catching up.
100%, man. You have a great week.
We always talk about football, but a big kudos to E.D. White's girls cross country team winning the state championship today on Monday over in Natchitoches. That is the Division II state championship. They're pretty used to it. They win a lot of state championships over there at E.D. White, and the girls pulled it off again today. So congratulations to them. What a great job they've done. And remember, swimming is also going to be happening towards the end of the week too. So lots of sporting news on the high school level going on. Got to take a break. We'll be back after this timeout.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.